As mentioned in Part 4, one of the more frustrating and difficult aspects of Bible study is the translations themselves. Perhaps the reason for this is that the Lord doesn't want us depending so much on written words which can be manipulated, but on the living and active word proceeding from His own mouth. When I say living and active word, I mean the truth written into creation itself, giving us abundant evidence of His spiritual realities. This is why I put so much stock in the principle of sowing and reaping. When I first awakened to this principle, I did not know that it was the process of resurrection, despite the fact that 1 Corinthians chapter 15 makes this quite clear. More than once I've said that God hides His truth in plain sight. I hope I've made it clear that what Jesus describes in Luke 17 and Matthew 24 addresses present realities that have been with us since the first century. Let's revisit this for a moment. For as the lightning that flashes out of one part under heaven shines to the other part under heaven, so also the Son of Man will be in His day. Even so will it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. For as the lightning comes from the east and flashes to the west, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Wherever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together. The subject of our passages in Luke 17 and Matthew 24 is the day when the Son of Man is revealed, synonymous with what Matthew called the coming of the Son of Man. Revealed is the root from which the word revelation is derived in Revelation 1:1. The root means to take off the cover, that is, disclose, while revelation simply means disclosure. As noted, our word coming is parousia. We'll come back to this. Now ask yourself, what did John mean by the revelation of Jesus Christ? Is he talking about a one-time appearance and event? Of course not. He was referring to a disclosure or understanding, incorporating those things which must shortly take place. This would include the entire content of the book of Revelation, would it not? The revealing of the Son of Man and the revelation of Jesus Christ are synonymous. The things Jesus describes in Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 17, and 21 are all pictured in Revelation. The fire and brimstone of the days of Lot, but one example. The day when the Son of Man is revealed. Remember, the day of trial for Israel was 40 years, telling us that a day has nothing to do with the 24-hour segment of time. Didn't Peter say that a day is like 1,000 years to our Maker? He did, and meaning that it can be any length of time God wants it to be, and that the real essence of it is the light of His word of righteousness in the earth. Now, let's consider the following. Now, as He sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to Him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? For as the lightning comes from the east and flashes to the west, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. And did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be." Note my insertions, where 4 times we have the word coming, which is the Greek transliteration parousia. Strong's defines this word as a being near, taken from the root meaning to be near, that is, at hand. Vine's expository dictionary indicates that it literally means a presence. This word is found 24 times in the King James New Testament, translated coming 22 times and presence 2 times. Why is that? Why not translate it presence every time if that's what it means? The Concordant Literal New Testament actually does this. This is one reason why I say that the translations themselves are quite a challenge. I'm glad to think that much of the translation of the King James New Testament was corrupted by the religious elite of the time who were more concerned about advancing their doctrines than they were the accuracy of the Greek language. Sadly, as the other translations came along, they more often than not followed these errors. Parousia, found 24 times. Note the following from Stephen Jones. 24 is the number of priesthood. Even as the number 12 is the number of governmental perfection, its multiple is the number of priesthood, wherein lies the call to spiritual government. It is a heavenly government of priesthood rather than a political government of kings. God revealed to David the pattern of the heavenly temple so that he could draw the blueprints for the temple on earth that his son Solomon was to build. Among these patterns was a change in priesthood from 12 to 24 courses of priest. For this reason also, we read in Revelation 4:4 of the 24 elders around the throne, after which the earthly manifestation was patterned. In 1 Chronicles 24, verses 1 through 18, where David divided the priesthood into 24 courses, we find another natural division. The 24 courses are composed of 16 men of the family of Eleazar and 8 of the family of Ithamar. The number 16 speaks of love, while the number 8 speaks of new beginnings. The number 24, then, which signifies priesthood, cannot be understood apart from the context of a new beginning, of spiritual rebirth, and love as the foundation of their character. Parousia, presence, spiritual government. Christ is ruling now, not coming to rule. Whether we realize it or not, we are in his presence. Think about it. In the days of Noah, it was not just the wicked or unrighteous, it was Noah and his family too. In the days of Lot, it was not just the wicked or unrighteous, it was Abraham and Lot as well. In Luke 17 and Matthew 24, one is taken, the other left. So we have righteous and unrighteous, even up to this present time. Whoever seeks to save his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life will preserve it, Jesus said. What will we give in exchange for our souls? Now, one might think I'm splitting hairs here, and maybe I am. I'm certainly not a Greek language expert. I'm just using the definitions given, applying some logic, and scratching my head as to why a word meaning to be near, at hand, or presence would be rendered coming for any reason. If you say you're coming to see me, then I'm waiting for your arrival. But once you get here, are you not at hand and I'm in your presence? So back to the number 24, priesthood, typifying spiritual government. In other words, Christ ruling, not something to come, but a present reality. The Lord has been ruling since his baptism by John. 24 is found 7 times in the King James New Testament, all of them in Revelation, and all referring to the elders. Coincidence? Or might this emphasize the theocratic government that even now flows from the throne of God through Christ? 7, meaning fullness, denotes the complete cycle of the seed to the ripened fruit. This, of course, is the principle of sowing and reaping, or resurrection. Is this not the means by which Christ and the elders rule? The idea of rulership brings us here, and this is where we will pick up from in the next study. Then I was given a measuring rod like a staff, and I was told, "Rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and those who worship there. But do not measure the court outside the temple. Leave that out, for it is given over to the nations. They will trample the holy city for 42 months."